What do you think is, the future for something like Barstool? Do you see it being like a Netflix? Like what do you want to see it be?
I think that the coolest thing about Barcelona, what's made it so good and so relevant for such a long time, because you got to think about something that's cutting edge or something that's controversial or something that is kind of new and risky or all these things. It's very, I would say, I'm not saying it's easy, but those are the type of things that can cut through the fastest. If something's edgy, then it will cut through the noise the fastest and get on your radar. And that happens pretty often. Something new will come around. It's like, whoa, this is kind of out there, which is what Barstool was. But the thing that doesn't happen with those things, they don't have staying power most of the time.
Right.
It's something that once it's over, it's hard to continue to build on that. What Dave has done that's so incredible, who I keep saying Dave is the founder of Barstool, for anyone who doesn't know, the guy who eats pizza on Instagram is how a lot of people know him. Uh, it's crazy what he's done is he's able to keep it a relevant brand for so long. I think it comes down to really one, he does a really good job hiring people. He brings in people who are really, really talented and able to expand the brand just by them being themselves. But they're hired by Barstool, and he's very hands off. So for me, for example, like I'm more than happy to give Dave all the credit and to big him up because he's like a great boss. He's not in my hair. He's like, he gives me every opportunity. He always is open to new ideas. So we bring in people like that who want to build up the brand. And then Dave himself, I just call it what it is. I've said it before. I've told him to his face, like he just doesn't ever take his foot off the pedal. He never is complacent. And it just, we talked earlier about how that's just how my mind works is in terms of like, I would never laugh during an interview. It's just really not how my mind works. Like that's just how his mind works. Like I would
Right.
love to say it's like, he's not some type of like motivation, reads motivational quotes in the morning and like fires himself up. Like he literally just, he couldn't stop if he wanted to. Like he's the type of guy who's going to be doing probably media content and trying to be like relevant on social media well after he's retired or well after he needs the money or well after any point. That's just how he is. Like some people are just built different, and that's just how Dave is. So he wakes up every day and he's like in the mix, and like you couldn't take that from him. He's already well past the point of like needing the
He
money.
does he
Like he's
doesn't he
hundreds
doesn't
of
need
millions of
anything.
dollars. Like he's still like he could walk away now and he'd be set. And that's just not in his DNA. Like even if something were happening with Barstool, if they kicked him out, like what Apple did Steve Jobs back in the day, like they would build something else right away. It would be something else big. He doesn't need the same things that would motivate him are not probably the same things that motivate the average person. I would say that. And that's so credit to him. That's why Barstool has been able to, between the people he's hired and just the way is set up. But he's a controversial, he's not even controversial. He just says what he thinks and doesn't care. And so just those two qualities, I think, have gave Barca a lot of staying power and probably will continue to do so until they do kick him out or something like that, some type of Apple situation. I don't know.
No, it's true. There are two things that you said that were really interesting. When that type of content that is a little bit edgier, that is more likely to cut through the noise, you mentioned that stuff doesn't really tend to last. Do you think that's because it naturally desensitizes an audience really quick? Like once you've seen it, and now it doesn't mean as much to you? Or do you think it's that more people aren't like, Dave Portnoy in the sense of they can't keep their foot on the gas? Why do you think that most of that type of content doesn't
Yeah,
last? Those people don't.
probably a little desensitization. Did I say that? Desensitization.
The point is there.
Whatever. Probably a little bit of that. And then also it's like, all right, so once you do something, it's like, all right, so what's next? Like what's bigger? And a lot of people are in this one field, or they feel like they're within the confines. Like Dave's a big football fan. New England Patriots and his rise, the rise of the Patriots, Super Bowls, and his rise kind of happened at the same time. And so he really used, and I was hired at this time, but I was watching it unfold. Like he's really using his favorite team and the team of like kind of his main demographic, their success to boost up Barstool, whether it's content or whether it is selling merch or whatever it is. But then as soon as he needs to pivot or something else happens, pivot, then he's in entertainment, or he's like with some TikTok guys, or like, now that Tom Brady's not with the Patriots anymore, they're probably not going to be winning for a while. Like Dave is in so many other worlds. He's in the stock market world. Whenever coronavirus happened and the hottest thing was the stock market, he's
Right.
in that world. Now crypto's popping up. Like he finds himself with the Winklevoss twins. Like he just able to not necessarily he just can transition in and out of every genre because he knows who he is and he's like just himself. So it's easy, I think, to do that if you are just not trying to play a character, or you're not trying to, be something you're not. If you're just transparent, authentic, which I do think is what everyone likes about Dave and what they like about Barstool. I think, the most, I would say pretty much everyone at Barstool kind of has that quality of they're kind of just themselves.
And
It
that's so
relates.
rare too, like that nobody can overlook that. No
Right.
other company is like that.
Right. So, I mean, Dave's had like just multiple sex tapes come out, multiple, controversies,
And it
multiple
doesn't
things
it
that would get
doesn't
anyone else
phase
in
me.
trouble. He's just himself, and he's like, dude, and he's calls it real. He's like, let's call it what it is, dude. It's
Right.
for the sex tapes, like there's people having sex. It's like, you guys really gonna cancel me for doing something you guys all do? And it's just like everyone's like, yeah, that makes sense. Nah, we're not. It makes sense. But it's like people. I think he appeals to, like, obviously he's funny, but I think his like personality appeals to like just your logical brain too. He calls things what they are, and it's like, yeah, I guess that's true.